let's talk about Yuka Okkotsu, because this character, to get put up against Deborah out of nowhere, it makes me think so much about what has Akutami not shown us about her yet. She seemed like she was going to be one of the most important characters of basically the entire story when Modulo began. It seemed like everything was going to have much more of a focus on Yuka's relationship with Tsurugi, the ring, and her development as a sorcerer. And then we took off on the aliens of coexistence. Tsurugi and Maru's relationship had a very, integral role of how the story is even playing out even now. And Yuka, we find out that she has brain cancer of all of these things. And for a sorcerer to get brain cancer, of all of the tragic things that can happen to you, that's probably one of the least expected ways for a Jujutsu sorcerer to go out, I would think. And I know a lot of people in the fandom were very concerned. I saw so many people thinking, oh, Gege just doesn't want to write another woman. It's another way to get Gege out. And besides all of the nonsense that you hear, I think part of the reason Yuka may have been left out of the story and only trickled to us in small doses might be for this exact reason. Because I quite literally think her getting put in this fight with Deborah is going to reveal not just a lot about who she is as a person and what she has been up to this entire time skip in time, but if she is powered up by a death binding vow, will that actually be enough to stop an amazingly strong calamity-like figure like Deborah? We know a vow that stakes its user's life is one of the strongest empowered things that you can ever get as a sorcerer. And I know a lot of people clown on binding vows as a whole after the Shinjuku raid, but I genuinely think binding vows are pretty concrete in the series, and you can make fun of oh, he gave up this to get this, but I think when you have things like people staking their lives on the line, you can see how much more serious a binding vow like that is. For example, you see this when Mei uses the kamikaze bird. The bird strike is something that was so powerful even Sukuna didn't want to get hit by. You also have in Phantom Parade, even though it's just the mobile game, you have someone like Kaito Yuki who uses a binding vow with his life on the line to make a barrier so strong no one can break it. So with Yuka hastening the speed of her brain cancer in order to gain as much power and cursed energy and stockpile as much power and put as much emphasis on this binding vow that puts her life on the line as possible in order to hold up against Deborah, not only is this something that has the potential to rival a special grade, as we have seen with Bird Strike, we also now know that this, especially looking at her right now, this is in her mind how she is becoming her grandfather, Yuta Okkotsu. Yuka, from the very beginning of the series, admitted that all she wanted to do was be able to, like her grandfather, stand up to a Sukuna level threat. And in a world before the Sumerian people showed up, something like that wasn't possible. Something that where she could stake her life on the line, especially knowing that she was sick with brain cancer and only had such few short months to live. What was her life going to be for? She could say she wants to live it like normal and do everything she could, but at the end of the day, this is what Yuka has always wanted to do. Even Tsurugi says as much. She's always been looking for a way to give her life up and put her life on the line and bet it on everything, just like her grandfather did against Sukuna all those years ago. We still don't know what Yuka's curse technique is. I've seen so many people discuss the 10 Shadows theory and she is going to summon Maharaga theory. And I genuinely do think it's a very interesting theory. The whole idea that based off of, the small little references, the hand signs that she's done, the techniques that we have seen from her could be animal related. There is a lot of people riding on that. And while I think that would be interesting in the story, I do also think it's very important to remember Rika's ring. Yuka has always been gearing up for a moment that not just her brother, but the people around her, especially her family and her clan, would be willing to accept her as a sorcerer, be willing to accept her for who she is as a person, and also accept that she is powerful enough to get the ring of her grandfather that she always wanted to. And something tells me most likely Yuka is going to get that ring before this battle begins. Because, again, not only is she now able to throw her life on the line when it was already, going to be sacrificed, by being the only person that Jujutsu Society can trust in a battle against Deborah, isn't she kind of getting exactly what she wanted and what she had asked for? She is basically saying from the beginning that she wanted to be acknowledged as a sorcerer, as someone that was like Yuta, and that's exactly what she gets. And I think this image of her that we see here is the purest, form and symbolism of that. Could Yuka Okkotsu's technique be copy? We don't know. All we have seen from her really are the savage jaw strike and the cursed energy manipulation that she claps for. She could be using partial summoning, something that we have seen from time and time again be done by people like Sukuna with the 10 Shadows. And not for nothing, she does have Zenin blood in her. She was born from Maki. She was born from fucking a special grade like Yuta. So not only does she have Michizane blood in her, she has Zenin blood in her, and also Zenin blood from a heavenly restriction. Now, would it be crazy to say that a 10 Shadows user is born from the coitus of a heavenly restricted user twice? I mean, weirder things have happened. So a Zenin technique is definitely in her midst. And imagine 10 Shadows, as well as combined with the ring, she unlocks Rika, and Rika is able to bestow upon her a storage of curse techniques. There are a lot of different ways that Yuka's character can be done. And knowing that she will be at the absolute peak of her form, the highest she could ever possibly fly by staking her life on the line with a death vow as well. Weirdly enough, it's a completely different series, but I'm getting adult Gon vibes. And this could be one of the greatest battles that we ever see and might only see in Jujutsu Kaisen Modulo, considering it may almost all be done very soon. But on top of that, I think for a character we really haven't seen much in the series outside of personality, dialogue, and has only been in a fight a couple of times. We've seen Tsurugi fight way more. I really do hope with everything that has been set up, we do get at least one chapter of seeing how strong Yuka Okkotsu is able to be, and if she will ever be able to be recognized in the same way that her grandfather was. The one true thing she wanted, especially knowing with how little time she has left. Is she going to be able to accomplish that? Do we think that we'll be able to heal Yuka's brain cancer in some way, shape, or form by the end of this story? I'm honestly really curious to hear what a lot of you guys think in general about Yuka as a whole, because for her to be given such an important position in the story while doing most of her work in the background, I can only begin to imagine what Gege has been cooking behind the scenes. But besides the Maharaga and 10 Shadows theory, which I think is pretty viable, I would love to see what else you guys think is possible here. Let me know. I feel like Maru is going to beat Tsurugi and Rika will activate and defeat Maru, letting Tsurugi go to his sister. That would be fucking insane. I mean, I don't know who... The ring being brought up has to be important. There's no way that just goes undone, and that was just, uses a small introduction to create the dynamic between the brother and sister. That has to come back in some way. I really do genuinely think Yuka not getting the ring and having the ring kept from her, I think there's more to that story than just has been revealed to us. A lot of people have done nothing but shit on the Gojo clan and talk about how the Gojo clan went right back to patriarchy and they immediately just started disregarding Yuka as a whole in favor of Tsurugi. But there might be good reason why Yuka, again, the granddaughter of Yuta Okkotsu and Maki Zenin, two insanely powerful sorcerers in their own right, may have been, found as... Not only does she not need the ring, she can be powerful enough on her own, but also maybe giving her the ring is a bad idea because Rika could be corrupted at this point. What if Rika is an evil soul and has become an evil curse spirit after the death of Yuta, and Yuka having cursed energy and most of it could awaken Rika, and that could cause a struggle and a problem, whereas Tsurugi, having little to no cursed energy whatsoever, is able to hold on to the ring without imparting some kind of insane siphon to Rika and summoning her on accident. I think Yuka not getting the ring may have more story reasons besides misogyny. and the Gojo clan just doing what the most great clans would back in the day. Could it just be plain annoyance and they didn't want to give the ring to Yuka? I think that's possible, but I also like the idea of the ring being kept away from Yuka until she was deemed ready to wield it, because of a very specific reason of it being too powerful for her to handle, or they knew it would be something that Yuta never wanted or intended to give her, or it would become a curse for her, right? Remember, Yuka loved her grandpa so much. She was one of the only people that couldn't get over his death. Everybody says this, and the series started out with this. Perhaps they didn't want to give Yuka the ring because they didn't want what Yuta did to happen again, knowing that it was very possible someone in that family could have done that exact thing, especially someone that takes after Yuta the most. So all I'm saying is I would really like to see Yuka get the ring and what that has an impact on for the foreseeable future, because I think there's a little bit more to it than that.